have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker.
The work here is part of my own private collection, and I've taken this opportunity since coming back to Dunedin, which is my hometown, to share it with some other people, because it was a really nice experience getting to meet Clive and be with Clive and seeing him create his work. And now I have quite a big collection, so this is part of it, so I'm going to show it to other people. I first met Clive in about 2004, and since then I've been back to LA I was trying to count it out the other day, about 8 times. And I was lucky enough to stay with Clive in his guest house, and he and his partner were very hospitable and welcoming, so that was really nice. So I got to see him do some of this work, be in his studio, which is amazing, very exciting. I come from Dunedin, here I am in LA, I'm in this house, I'm looking out the windows, Whoopi Goldberg in a swimming pool down below, Puff Daddy up the other side and Seal on the other side, and I'm sort of thinking that's quite amazing. So a great experience, and knowing that man helps me really love the work too. And his imagination is absolutely phenomenal, as you can see by, these pieces are just some of his inspirations, and some of them are him thinking about what he's going to write next, so he'll start drawing to almost get that sort of image in his head to start writing about. And sometimes he writes about a character and then he'll start drawing them to make them more sort of real, more human almost in his eyes. So that's sort of part of it as well. So that was quite a nice part of that creative process that I was involved in too. Sometimes I got to see Clive painting, and his painting was fantastic. He'd be stripped to the waist, because often it was in LA, it was really hot, so he'd be stripped to the waist, sort of really involved in his artwork. You didn't really talk to him while he was painting, because he was really painting and he was in there, and he'd have piles of paint set up, and he'd often squirt the paint onto the canvas, directly onto the canvas or onto paper plates, and then get a brush out and things, or a spatula or something. But sometimes he'd even go and get instruments that he'd find. If he had lunch and there was a steak knife, he'd get that, and he'd be quite visceral in how he was attacking the paint. And so some of the layers of paint were quite magnificent, and it sort of comes through in a lot of these pieces. So even though these are pen and ink, a lot of them, or pastels, sometimes he just draws on whatever's there.